This exercise sent me right down memory lane and made me remember so many people and episodes in my life. It is interesting where life takes us and how people and events have the power to change our lives completely. I think for many of us, our parents have a big influence in our lives. When I was 17, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. This started a time of great hope and despair, a time where I felt completely powerless, but also a time of supporting each other, a time of continuously fighting and finally losing. After 2 years battling bravely with her sickness, my mom died in our arms. Unfortunately, just 1 year later, when we still were trying to deal with the loss of my mom, my dad passed away in an accident. In a very short time, my sister and I lost both of our parents. It felt like the foundation of our lives was taken away from us. This was a time when I thought a lot about the big questions of life. Why are we here? What is the sense in all of this? Where do we go when we die? It was a time when I learned that nothing can be taken for granted and that we have, in fact, very little control of our lives. I thought it taught me to never take a moment or a person ever for granted and to enjoy and live for the fullest, life to the fullest. Whatever you want to do or to say to somebody, now is the time for it. Dealing with the loss of my parents also taught me how important it is to have people who support you in times of hardship. We all have our tragedies and hardships, and sometimes we need each other to keep going on with life. Therefore, I admire the work of non-profit organizations so much. They are built not to make a profit, but to meet needs of people. I'm reminded about this so often at work. Sometimes you just need somebody that gives you a hug, somebody who takes your hand, somebody who believes in you and tells you that things will get better and you will be alright. Another very important event in my life happened in 2008 when I traveled to San Diego to study English. It was the first time for me going somewhere completely by myself. I felt lost and scared at the beginning, but I quickly learned the language and met so many amazing people from all around the world. Studying in San Diego was certainly one of the best times in my life. I only had to study in the mornings and was free to explore San Diego in the afternoons and the rest of California on the weekends. This was a time of so much fun, happiness, freedom, and very few worries. One evening, I went out with my friends and we met a group of Americans. We instantly became friends and spent the rest of the summer together. One of these Americans was a boy that I especially liked. We stayed in contact and met again a year later in New York, where he told me that he loved me. We started a long distance relationship and flew back and forth between Switzerland and the US for 5 years. After I earned my law degree, I entered the diversity visa lottery and ended up winning an immigration visa. I couldn't believe it. it I took it as a sign to leave everything behind me and try to live in San Diego. Although I miss my family and friends in Switzerland, I never regret my decision. The American that I met in 2008 and I got married last year. Another person that helped me to become who I am today doesn't know that he had that influence on my life. Across the street of the condo where I used to live was a grocery store parking lot. Every evening when I came home, and sometimes in the mornings when I went to my car, I saw an old man sleeping in his car parked in the lot. Sometimes I would wake him up when the headlights of my car blinded him. He did not have a blanket, and his head was resting sometimes on the steering wheel and sometimes all twisted in the seat. The situation of this man saddened me deeply. I wondered every day why he had nowhere to go. What had happened to him? As it became winter and the temperatures got colder, I thought I had to do something. I reached organizations that could help him. I researched organizations that could help him. I found the San Diego Rescue Mission. I sent an email and asked what to do. The next day, I got an email back. They informed me that I should not approach the man by myself because some people are battling with mental illness, but there was a homeless outreach team that I could call the next time I seen him. They would go and talk to him. I was really grateful for the quick response of the San Diego Rescue Mission and that they had the means to help. This man, and witnessing the situation of the homeless population in downtown, prompted me to want to do more. The next time the San Diego Rescue Mission was hiring, I applied and I got the position.